Hey all, so now I'm going to show you how to do the Tunisian simple stitch crochet in the round. Now this is actually made up of just wedges. There to there is one wedge, and then you've got the next one here. And there's just 6 wedges, and then we're going to seam up. The seam on this one is here, so you can just about see it, but it's not a huge difference. So, you know, most people aren't going to notice or care about the seam. But we're going to show you how to do this. It's really nice and simple. This is basically a flat method of working in the round to do these sort of things. You can do Tunisian crochet properly in the round, but that's an entirely different method. So check back later for a video that shows you how to do the other style in the round for hats and tubes and things. This is for making flat circles. Okay, so we're going to be using a 3mm hook. Now normally with Tunisian crochet you go up a hook size, but I found in the round I can do this with a yarn hook that works roughly the same size and it still looks okay. But if you're worried, if your tension's tight, do go up to a 4mm. Now this here is a Tunisian crochet hook. So you see it looks a lot like a knitting needle, but it has a hook on the end. And that's what most people would use for Tunisian crochet. But if you're just starting out and you don't know if you want to take up Tunisian, you can do it with just a normal crochet hook. Because this is small and we're only having a small amount of stitches, it will fit on that section there. So you can do this on a small hook. So this is a good way to test if you like Tunisian crochet before you have to go out and buy a bunch of big hooks. Okay? So we start like we would start any normal crochet. So we have a slip knot, we'll pop on a hook, and we're going to chain 9 stitches. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. Okay. So we've got 9 chain stitches, so nice and simple, just like normal crochet. And now this is where it starts to change. So we're going to go into the second chain from the hook, just yarn over, go through, yarn over and pull back through, and keep that hook on there. I'm going to come in closer so you can see. Ooh, not that close. So we've gone in and we're going to keep that on there. Now with these we actually increase as we go. So we've started with the 9, but we're actually going to work these, and they're doing what's known as short rows. If you've done short rows in crochet or knitting, you'll get the gist of this. But these are created using short row method. Okay, so we don't want to go around the rest of these just yet. We just want to do this one. Now if you have seen Tunisian crochet before, you know that a row has a forward pass and a back pass. So we've just done the forward pass for this first section and picked up the loops, and we're going to do the back pass, which means we go through 1, yarn over and go through 2, and that's your first row as such done for this. So then we're going to pick up through, go through this leg here. So if I can just separate it off, you can see, getting a camera would be useful, you can see that there's the normal V, which is here, but we're going to go through that top leg, the one at the top, and we're going to yarn over and go through, and then we're going to go to the next chain on the hook. So we're going to go to this one, go through, yarn over and pull through. So now we have 3. Last time we had 2 loops on the hook, now we're having 3. This is the next one. So we're going to yarn over, go through 1 just like you always do on a back pass, through 1, then yarn over through 2, yarn over through 2. That's the second row done. So again we're going to find that first leg of the next stitch and go up through there, and then we're going to go up this first leg here. You will see that it easily sits on top, so you can see where it is. So you're just going to go through and pick up through there, and that's your 3. Remember, we want to increase 1, so we're going to go into the next chain, yarn over and go through. So we've got 4. You see how this is going? Really simple, isn't it? So yarn over through 1, yarn over through 2, all the way to the end. 3rd row done. And can you see how we're starting to create it to go out and around? So again, find the first leg, yarn over and pull up, 2nd leg, 3rd leg is this one right down here, remember? Oops, sorry. See, and then we're adding one, so we're going to go into this stitch, into this chain. That gives us the next one. So remember the normal pass, yarn over through 1, then yarn over through 2, all the way along. Okay, so again, pick up through the first leg, the 2nd leg, there's the 3rd leg there, 4th leg is this one just on the end there, and then increase by going into the next chain, the next amount of stitches. You can do this until you've got 9 on your hook, which is the 9 stitches we obviously started with. So this is just a simple process we'll repeat over and over again until we completed the first wedge. We do this one wedge at a time, but each wedge is worked on to the last wedge. So there's only one sewing, and that's the sewing the seam closed at the end. And if you're like me, minimum sewing is good. Again, I'm sorry if I go off camera. I keep forgetting to check that I stay within camera range. But I like to be close up so you can see what I'm doing here. See. You see how that wedge is forming up? You can see your lines for your normal simple stitch knitting crochet is forming along with your V stitches going that way, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8 on our hook, and you can see there's still one chain there, but we've just gone in this one, so we're going to go back. And across. So this next pass we will be picking up all 9 stitches. Just unravel my ball a bit. So that's one that was already on, plus the next one makes 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and that last chain there makes 9. So we're going to pass back through just like you would, so yarn over through 1, yarn over through 2 for the rest. Don't worry that it's curling up, that is perfectly normal, and once you seam it, it won't curl anymore. That's the nice thing about this specific method. There we go, so that's our first wedge completed. So you can see the wedge just in here. This is the wedge we've just completed. So nice and simple. Right, so to work on the next wedge, we do a similar thing. We're going to now pretend this top row is our chain. So we've obviously got that one on there, so we're just going to pick up that first leg, yarn over and go through like normal. And now we're going to go back to doing the short rows. So this is where we start for row 1. So yarn over, go through 1, yarn over and go through 2. And then pick up that leg and then pick up one more stitch along, remember, so we're increasing. And so we're just going to do it like we did with the chain, picking up one extra stitch each time we do our forward pass. And we're going to do this until you have 6 completed wedges. I will keep this one on camera showing you how we go to the next one each time, and then I'll complete the rest of the wedges off camera and then show you how to seam it up at the end. Just because all the wedges will be done the same way. So once you know how to do this row, you'll know how to do the rest of the wedges. Remember to pick one up off of the new starting chain, which is the top of the last wedge, each time you do a forward pass. Try not to drop it. Good thing about Tunisian crochet is, even though like knitting you pick up lots of stitches, if you drop a stitch in this one, it can only go as far back as the row below it. It can't go any further, so don't worry too much if you drop a stitch, just pick it straight back up. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8, and you'll see we've still got that one to go. Don't forget that one there. So keep an eye on how many you got. Make sure you don't start the new wedge until you've completed 9 loops. So this row will give me my 9 loops. And you see this leg here, that is the leg you're going for. Okay, and that gives you your 9 loops, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So this is the last back pass for this wedge. And this is what's creating the new base for the next wedge. There we go. And that's the next wedge created. You see how it's just slowly moving around. So we're going to work on this row next. Now you want to have 6 total wedges, so do 4 more wedges after these, and then meet back and I'll show you how to seam it up and turn it into the full circle. See you back in a minute. Hey guys, so we've done all 6 wedges, and you can see it naturally wants to meet. If you lay it down, it naturally curves around and then meets up. So this is where we're going to sew, and we will tighten that centre circle as well. But the first thing to do is to finish off this row. So after you've done all your 9 stitches in the row, here we're going to need to finish off ready to be able to sew it to this wedge. So all we're going to do is a slip stitch. So we go into the first thing. I'm sorry if you can hear that banging. I have no idea what someone's doing outside, but they're obviously making use of the bank holiday. So yeah, we're going to go under and pick up that leg just like you normally would, but this time we're going to slip stitch straight through that other loop. So we're only going to have one loop on the hook at all times. Just slip stitching across. I am so sorry about that banging if you can hear it. And you see how it's just forming a nice neat edge. So we'll do that all the way along. Making sure you get that very last one. Once you've done your edging, you want to leave a long tail, because we're going to use this for sewing. So leave a long tail and just snip it off, preferably with a pair of scissors, it works. And then yarn over, pull it through and give it a tug. And then grab a needle hook it round, and you want to find the base. So just look around for your base. You can see that that meets up along there. That's your 9 stitches. So hook into the base down here. You can see that loop just in there. Just hook it in and pull it. Okay, don't worry about that hole there for the minute. We will tidy that up using the end here when we weave in. Okay, so as we've just gone into that side, see we just went into that side and turning it around because it's easier to sew this way. We're now going to go into this stitch here. See the V's? We're just going to go into that leg there. It doesn't really matter where you go, you just want to sew the 2 pieces together, and that's where I find going in to the leg, the single leg, and draw them together works quite nicely. So we're just basically just kind of whip stitching in along. You can even join 2 at the same time like that. I just realised my chair's still on this time. So just going along into each of the 2. Try not to get the other tail end in. Now if you've been joining the 2 correct ones together, you will meet at the top of the stitch of the wedge, just like you're supposed to. Try not to get a little knot like I did. I tend to use quite long tails. If you don't use too long a tail, you won't get this thing right. So we're at the top here. We're just going to join in these 2 along the top. See that? So that secures the top there. And I like to go back in around underneath that first wedge. And that really joins it in so it goes a continuous line. Around the back, just pick a spot close as you can to tie a little knot. Really use your fingers to pull that knot down into it so it gets hidden inside, and then you're just going to weave your end in backwards and forwards, hiding your end. So I tend to go over a few different rows because you really want to make sure it's woven in quite nicely. Not going to come out anywhere. I'll weave a bit more of that in. Oh, you can see I'll weave a bit more of that in later. But so now we want to deal with this hole. So just take your tail end of your starting tail from your chain, and you're just going to weave it into there, and then weave up and down, backwards and forwards into these loops, just so you can close it. Give it a little tug, and it closes up that hole. If you need to, go through a couple more times, it doesn't matter. You just want to make sure that it's thoroughly closed up, and then again pick a spot to do a knot as close as possible. Really work it in, and then again weave in your end backwards and forwards, working in, and I'll weave the rest of that in later. But then, as you can see, it all is nicely done. And this, come out of it, that's in. There's your thing. So of course these are done with same hook, same stitch count and everything. It's purely that this one I do off camera, I work tighter, but on camera I try to do it looser so you can see the stitches, but they are the same thing, as you can see. So it doesn't matter if you have a looser tension or a tighter tension, they both work just as well. That's really nice and simple. Okay, so that's the Tunisian simple stitch. If you haven't seen it, do check out the Tunisian simple stitch in square, though I do recommend watching these ones first. And that's how you do a nice little face scrubby in Tunisian simple. Check back soon and I will show you how to do Tunisian knit stitch. Okay, take care, bye!